Yo, guys, I hope you're well. So, guys, we are back with Webby's Wednesday. Our man Chris Webby has dropped another cut. And I have to apologise here at Urb'n Barz. I think I've missed the last 2 weeks. I've not been too well, so I've missed out on a couple of Webby Wednesdays, which I will at some point catch up with. But today's title is called Mischief Night Freeverse. I think Webby did this last year with, what's it, like the multiverse or whatever, the metaverse, whatever that was called, a year or so ago. That was another free verse, if I remember rightly. But guys, Mischief Night, is this something to do with Halloween, trick or treat, all that sort of stuff? Mischief Night? I might be wrong. But guys, let's not beat around the bush. Let's get it.
Okay, all set, let's go.
I'm a raw dude, it's what I evolved to. And the shit you heard about me is probably all true.
That is hip hop at its finest. It's old school hip hop, people. I swear it sounds like a beat I've heard before from way back in the days. And our man is digging in the crates here, Chris Webby. Oh, guys, I got to listen to that again. That was so good. That was so good.
Okay, all set, let's go.
I'm a raw dude, it's what I evolved to. And the shit you heard about me is probably all true. And what you call my peers in rap, I call food. Cut them into little pieces and dip them in fondue.
So that is one of those old, it's not an old hip hop break. For some reason I thought it was, but it's one of those old, was it the cartoons or something? Dun, 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 dun. Probably an old show, probably like the Monsters or something ridiculous like that. But our man is, he's a raw dude.
Cane and chartreuse to get loose and boost these spastic outbursts occurring up in the booth. I'm writing these dissertations, they writing like Mother Goose. And their fans must be slow too, cause they getting views. But it's cool, cause I'm riding on my own path. Stayed out the way of the game and I chose that. While they climb the Hollywood mountain with a broke back. Selling ass while they selling souls, selling both that.
So Chris Webby's talking about he stayed on the outside looking in, whilst other people were aiming on that Hollywood mountain. And he said there's an allusion to Brokeback Mountain. I've not seen the film, but I know that's something to do with people bonding. Let's just call it people bonding this way and that way, whatever. But he's not going to do that Hollywood thing with a Brokeback Mountain, the Hollywood climb, this, that, and everything else. Yeah, I get it, because, well, I'm not going to talk too much about it because I've heard this many years ago. There's lots of rumours and lots of people talking about this, that and the third, etc, about how people climb the ladder to all sorts of industries. But guys, in this world we don't get a fair shake. And I have to say at this point as well, that when I first went to the States many years ago, I saw so many talented people. And I wondered, I was only a young kid at the time, and I was wondering, how is it these people aren't signed to contracts, etc. But as you grow older, and I got into the business myself, music business, I started to see why people are signed and why people aren't signed. And yeah, it's not about talent, because all of these guys are talented. It's about other things. Let's just call it like that, people. Let's just call it like that.
And I could have been G-Easy, could have signed a big deal. Took those very same meetings, but I got a weird feeling. Looking at it now, that shit gives me the chills. Cause to be G-Easy would suck, dog, for real. He on so many drugs, he got me looking sober. Now wipe that damn makeup off, you fucking poser. That Satan worshiping Illuminati shit is over. And so is your career, dog. Let me give you closure.
Oh, that is over. And so is your career, dog. Let me give you some closure. So basically, my man Webby's talking about the dark is coming to the light. And a lot of us knew about what was going on many years ago. A lot of us knew about what was going on a long time ago. And let's just put it this way. I stopped listening to music for 10 years almost. Just put it that way, people. I stopped listening to music for almost 10 years. What was my reason? Really?
Throw this motherfucker in a halfway house before he spits another trash ass bar. Just get him out. Gee, you making white boys look bad right now. And as a white boy, you don't get no pass right now. You could say that I'm a dick, I'd be inclined to agree. But I'm just sick of all these wannabe lying MCs. Little puppets for the labels and secret societies. Up at Diddy gatherings, bunch of Hollywood creeps.
Did he? Did he? Did he?
Can't say from first hand, never been to one. For the tea, you gotta ask me, Camille, that one. Yeah, my skills ain't dull, yeah, I'm still that one. You could say I'm not a legend, but I feel like one. I'm the bastard son of Shady, so whether or not he chooses to embrace me doesn't matter. He knows he's the one who made me all those years ago when I was little more than a baby. He created a fucking monster, so love me or hate me, I'm still the fucking Jon Snow to the shadiest throne. Thought I wanted it until I started making my own. North of the wall, underground, where the White Walkers roam all alone. But just look at how the Padawan's grown.
Everyone knows I love Game of Thrones. Jon Snow, White Walkers. Really? Winter is coming. Winter is coming. Winter is here.
Death of Slim Shady, there's an open slot though. Who you think's qualified? Fucking Jack Harlow?
I know who Jack Harlow is. I've covered him on a couple of tracks. So that's a really good segue there. The Death of Slim Shady, there's an opening. So my man said he is the son of Slim Shady because Eminem inspired our man to do what he's doing these days, or that's what he's saying. So yeah, there's an opening with the Death of Slim Shady, and my man is more than qualified to slip in there, and not so much Jack Harlow.
Oh no, it'd be a compliment to call him so-so. That white man can't jump, I mean shit, he could barely flow.
A white man can't jump. He can barely flow. And people, if any of you haven't seen the film White Men Can't Jump, Woody Harrelson, Wesley Snipes, that is one of the best movies you'll see for a long time. There are some serious quotes in there that I have just remembered to this day. But to me, the best quote ever from White Men Can't Jump is when Rosie Perez says to Woody Harrelson that she's thirsty. So Woody Harrelson gets out of bed and gets a drink of water. But that's not what Rosie Perez meant. And in some ways it segues to hip hop as well, as you can have doubles and trebles, all these different entendres as well, etc., etc. So what you say on the surface level might not be what you want on the subliminal or even the deeper level. So it all goes like that. But White Men Can't Jump, one of my favourite films of all time.
Oh no, I'm just saying he ain't got it like that. And nor do most of the rappers within my Spotify app. And if I don't do it, then who else gonna take up the trash? It's a thankless job, so I just embrace it as that. But why you hating, Webby? What's the fucking matter with you? I don't know, I got bored, didn't have shit to do. Crushed an Addy and snorted it, now I'm back in the mood to massacre these whack rappers. I'm a savage, it's true. I'm not a mean guy, really, I'm just playing my position, which puts me in a position for ripping my competition. But that don't mean I hate everybody, don't you forget it. I got underground alliances with some of the illest. I know Canadian rappers, real Canadian rappers who didn't move to the States and stop claiming it after. Yeah.
Drake. And I've only ever listened to Drake with the disses with Kendrick, Lamar, K-Dot. I knew the name Drake, but I never heard a Drake track until this summer. But what Chris Webby's saying is he knew the real underground Canadian rappers because Webby grew up in that scene, battle rapping, all that, this, that, and everything else. And it's really funny here because Chris Webby, as I always said, he's multi-talented, multifaceted. He's been around for so long and he's built up his reputation in every single facet of hip-hop. He can do it, and he does it with so much ease that you don't even know. My man could diss you to your face and you won't even know he's dissed you because it is so intricately done. And you'll think he's giving you props whilst he's dissing you. Really?
You know who I mean, that's just my thoughts on the matter. And regardless of the science, I'm an anti-Daxer. Shout to Mercury, DTG, and Quake. Shout to Classified and Chalk Claire leading the way.
Did he say, contrary to the science, I'm an anti-Daxer? I don't know all the ins and outs with Dax. I don't know all the ins and outs, but I know he's got a huge following. He's got over 4 million followers. I've listened to quite a few of his tracks, but I wasn't around when Dax first came up. I know there was some ins and outs, and people say this, that, and the third, but I don't know all the ins and outs with Dax. Is it Dax my man's talking about? I don't know.
And any other real Canadians I'm meaning to say, but above all else, it's rest in peace, Pat Stay. Wait.
Oh, yes, Pat Stay, rest in peace. And sadly, Pat Stay, I didn't know too much about him either, but I heard a few of his tracks, and he came up with, I think one of the last ones he did was when he took on The Game, and then he was unfortunately murdered in doing something which has happened to so many people, people that I've known as well. My man was trying to stop an interference between two people having some kind of argument, and unfortunately, Pat Stay got stabbed and he perished. Sometimes you end up on the worst when you try and do a good thing. You're trying to do a good thing and something bad will happen to you. But the thing is, if you don't intervene, people say, well, why didn't you intervene? So you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. But rest in peace to Pat Stay. He didn't deserve that.
You didn't say Drake? Yeah, I know. I'm not a girl with bad musical taste or a homo. I ain't big enough to diss him, though he's out of my league. And after Kendrick caught that body, honestly, there's no need.
So the thing about hip hop, music, sport, anything, to be honest with you, just because someone has a bigger fan base or more notoriety or is known more, has a bigger fame, etc., 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 doesn't mean they're better. Bigger does not always mean better. It just means for some reason maybe your marketing, your promotion, or whatever is much better than someone else's. The same thing with boxing and everything else. I know people technically skilled who are just fantastic, but they don't have a fan base. And people arguing, oh, he's got a bigger fan base than him. It doesn't really. To be honest with you, I'm not going to talk about Drake 'cause I don't know so much about him. I don't know all the ins and outs, this, that, and everything else. I'm not talking about Drake per se, but I know so many hip hop artists from the 80s, 90s, etc., that aren't even getting a shake now, and they're fantastic, lyrically they're fantastic, but no one knows who they are. And then you've got hip hop artists today who are doing so well in numbers that I've listened to them and I'm wondering and scratching my head. So it is what it is, people. It's horses for courses. Everyone's got a different take on everyone else. So yeah, my man here, I believe, is one of the best MCs on the mic. He really is, Mr. Webster. He's one of the best on the mic, but my take may not be yours.
Fuck it, nothing matters, cause whatever I do, I'm not part of the program, so I ain't getting the views. I could fucking cure cancer going.
I love that. I'm not part of the program, so I'm not getting the views. So sometimes people learn to play the game. It's the same thing in the workplace, anywhere. If you play the game, you may not be better, but you're probably better at playing the game, and that's what gets you noticed, rather than some people who are better than you in the fundamentals and technically in every single which way but loose, but they're not getting the shine because they refuse to play the game.
Get on the news, I still won't get the credit whenever the credit is due. But if you do get mad at what I said today, I won't apologize, and yes, it was meant that way. But fuck it, I can't help the fact I am this way. Wish I wasn't sometimes, but fuck it sometimes. And sometimes some shit just gotta be said. And who else gonna do it? So screw it, go get my meds. A couple ketamine crystals in a joint to the head. I'm that microphone killer, now that microphone dead.
That was fantastic. Guys, that was fantastic. That was our man Chris Webby. Dum, 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 dum. So that was Mischief Night. So our man CW was feeling a bit mischievous and he was calling out names. I think I heard Diddy. Diddy's name was mentioned, Drake's name was mentioned, Dax's name was mentioned, and maybe a few others that I probably missed. There was another guy he mentioned, I don't know who that guy is. So it's a weird one because our man Chris Webby does it with ease. This was a fantastic track. When you listen to it musically, lyrically, it was a fantastic track. It was seamless. But he was going in hard on the industry, he was going in hard on what happens behind the scenes in the industry, and he was going in hard on a few people in the industry who are held up as industry greats, etc., etc., etc. But my man did it in such a smooth way because the Webster is absolutely brilliant at what he does. Doesn't need to scream and shout. He just does it in such... I don't understand how he does it. My man is just... I love his lyrics. I love the way he approaches the mic. I love the way he performs on the mic. And he just showed he's technically skilled there. I wasn't breaking down his bars or anything on that. It would have taken too much time, but I was just breaking down things that hit me from what Chris Webby was saying. I don't know what the issue is with Dax. I may have got that wrong and twisted. So, Chris, if I got that wrong, I apologise. So, I don't know too much about Dax's backstory. To be honest with you, I don't even know too much about Drake's backstory. Although I saw something on the TV yesterday that Drake was on some, what was that TV program for 8 years? So he was already famous before he started rapping. So it is what it is, people. So hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to get off now because I'm starting to cough again. But remember to check out Chris Webby's back catalogue. Check out Webby's Wednesdays. He drops fantastic tracks each and every Wednesday. I don't know how he does it. The video was great as well. I loved it. It was old school. To me, it's totally old school. And when I say old school is an absolute positive. I grew up with old school hip hop. Old school flows through my bones. It flows through my bones. So old school is a great thing, and old school means I'm giving it props. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that. So I'm man Chris Webby. That was Mischief Night. That was just me commenting on a few bits and pieces that hit me. I wasn't forward winding, rewinding, etc., etc. I just commenting. I wasn't really breaking down the bars or anything. It's just when I hear music, this is what instantly hits me. I've never heard this track before, never seen the video. So our man Chris Webby, props to you, Mischief Night. I hope you guys have a great evening, whatever you get up to. Look after yourselves, look after each other, and please make certain you come back to the next Urb'n Barz reaction, guys.